So let's just chat for a little bit, and you can look through me to your kids. I know how that is completely. I do the same thing. So one ear here and a couple eyes there is fine. I guess the biggest thing is, how when I always talk about the good old days, right? This is them, okay? I have 3 older kids that all played something collegiately. My oldest son played college baseball. And every year I'd sit as a coach or as a sports parent and I'd think, God, I got to do something a little bit different next year to make it better, right? You guys ever wish you did something different? Yep. Well, there's 2 kinds of people, those with their hands raised and liars, right? Yeah, we'd all do something a bit different. I could change year to year with my kids, my daughters. They only get 1 shot at that year, and they got to make it the best year possible. I get to do it over again because I have a 14-year-old son, and he's embarking on his varsity baseball career as a freshman at Camino High School. He's pretty decent. He's had some good role models along the way with his older kids. But when I see them next to each other when they were young, my little one and my oldest son that ended up 6'4", 220, I realize how fast the time goes, right? So take advantage of it now, right? Because it's going to go really, really fast, and we want to make it as good an opportunity for them to compete as possible. And we don't know how good they're going to be, right? The stages of talent development are interesting. This stage right here, it's that romantic stage. They love it. They probably got up at 5 in the morning excited to be here, slept with their glove last night, right? Or they put on their cleats at 8 in the morning to walk around in the kitchen for a 5 o'clock game on game day, right? They love it. We want to keep that love as long as we can, right? But what happens is they start to get good and they start to like it, and we start to worry about the technical stuff and how they're competing and what they're doing and how they're executing. So we get a better coach, or we get a trainer, or we specialize, and we forget to keep the love alive, right? So we got to make that romantic stage and handle that transition as best as we can, so they continue to love the game while they work hard at getting good at it, and eventually they might end up being mature athletes that are able to compete at high school, college, or beyond. But we don't know. I coached some kids in Little League that their parents were convinced they were the next Roger Clemens and Mike Piazza. And by the end of their senior year in high school, they were playing in a band and working on cars, right? Not that there's anything wrong with that, but they weren't playing baseball anymore. But I've had some other kids that were just other little kids that had great, great careers. And so we never know. And the best thing to do is to be their biggest fan and support them along the way. We think we have a model that helps that. The Positive Coaching Alliance, we talk to coaches all the time about being what we call double goal coaches, right? We want them to understand they're preparing their kids to strive to win, to do their best, but they got to teach life lessons along the way, because those are the things that are going to last. So that double goal coach model goes hand in hand with you guys. Right? Parents should look at themselves as second goal parents. You should focus a little bit more on that second goal. The life lessons that kids are learning through sports that their coaches are trying to teach them are only going to be taught if you help the kids absorb them. When the coaches are trying to teach about commitment and work ethic and attitude and accountability, you need to support that in order for the kids to learn those lessons. Because those are the lessons that are going to make them great people in life. And that's what we're out for, better athletes and better people. Have that partnership with the coach, right? A good coach-parent partnership. You know that when you work well with your teachers in school, kids learn better. It shouldn't be any different in sports, right? We need to cooperate a little bit. And here's some things that we think you can focus on. Take the focus off the scoreboard a little bit and focus on what we call the ELM tree. ELM is an acronym we want you to remember. ELM. We want you to focus on your kids' effort. We want you to focus on whether your kids are learning or not. Don't focus so much on the result or comparing them with other people or other teams, right? Are they making an effort? Are they trying to learn? And then when they make a mistake, help them manage that mistake. How many of you have kids that either look at their coach or look at you guys after a mistake? Yeah, right? What do you think they're looking for? They want a little bit of reassurance from both of them. They want to know the coach has confidence in them. They want to know you still love them. They didn't let you down. They still have a ride home. They get to eat tonight. Right? So give them that reassurance, but don't holler it from the stands. Right? Come up with what we call a mistake ritual. Some just sign or a symbol. Right? Give them a thumbs up. We talk about flushing mistakes. A lot of baseball teams, a lot of baseball players flush mistakes to the point where their coaches will bring a toy toilet in the dugout to help them visualize that that mistake is down, gone the drain. So help them flush mistakes. They look at you, tell them to flush it. Brush it off, no sweat, throw it away. Just a thumbs up and a smile. All right, you don't have to holler at them and talk them through it, because then they'll know that I saw the mistake, I still have confidence in you, I still love you. Now let's get ready and make the next play, because that's the most important one. Right? Being able to forget about the mistake and worrying about the next play is how kids should develop a growth mindset, where they know that their effort is why they achieve, not their talent. Talent is going to level out. The people that have the best growth mindset, that understand that their effort is what's going to get them to achieve, are the ones that are going to continue to advance. So every opportunity, praise their effort. Hey, don't tell them you're a great hitter after a game. Tell them you're hitting really well because you're listening to the coach and you're putting in extra time in the cages and you're working hard. Then they'll know that they got good because of what they're doing, instead of just imagining that they're talented, because one day they're going to struggle. And when they struggle, if they think they got there because they were talented, way back in their brain, they're going to think, I'm not that talented. But if they think I got here because I practiced hard and I listened to my coaches, when they struggle, they're going to think, oh, I know what I need to do. I need to get back in the cage. I need to hit off the tee. I need to play some catch. They're going to work a little bit harder, and they're going to bust through those mistakes, right? And they're going to continue to grow and continue to plateau. When you help them get through those mistakes, you're going to fill their emotional tank. There's a lot of research that says kids have to remember 5 times as many positive things as they do criticisms and corrections, setbacks and failures. School, life, sports, 5-to-1 ratio. 5 times as many positive memories. So think of all of the great positive memories that you can give a kid. Right? How many positive memories are they going to leave today with? That counts. Right? The pizza parties after a game count. How you communicate with them in the car after a game counts. Right? When you survey successful athletes, college athletes, there was a study done. They asked them, what was the worst part of your youth sports experience? And the vast majority of them said the drive home with mom and dad. Right? We don't need that post-game analysis. Right? I used to have what I called the driveway rule. I never brought up the topic of the game after we pulled out of the driveway of wherever we played or practiced. If they brought it up, we could talk about it, right? I could cross-examine. It was open season. But if they didn't bring it up, they weren't ready to talk about it anyway, so I was talking to deaf ears, right? So talk on their emotional schedule. I got to tell you, I stayed in the parking lot a long time sometimes before I pulled out of the driveway. But once I did, I left it up to them, and they almost always ask. They almost always talk about it, and that shows that they still love the game because they want to talk about it, right? I remember a game my youngest son struck out a couple of times, once looking. And the life of a sports parent, you know what it's like. I went through the drive-thru to go get food, and my wife took him home to start to do his homework. And I get a text that says, Tyler's in the back seat crying. He thinks he played a horrible game. He was 9. And so I answered the text, and I was in the drive-thru, so I can answer the text. And I said, that's okay, it just means he cares. And so I ordered my food. And my phone buzzes again. And it says, he says to leave me alone. And I said, well, he'll talk when he's ready. Remember his emotional schedule. We use that phrase a lot, right, with my wife. I go up to get my food, and the phone buzzes again. And I open it up, and in capital letters it says, what about my emotional schedule? Right? We want to fix it. right? We want to fix it. We hate the struggle, but embrace the struggle. That's the good times, right? When you help kids fight through the struggle and the tough times, that's when we know they're going to get good, right? And that's when we know that they're going to honor the sport. Okay, we talk about honoring the game. Here's some things I want you to remember on game day. And in your youth sporting experience, respect the rules, right? Rules of residence, rules of age, rules of play, unwritten rules. Learn them. There's a lot of baseball ones. Respect your opponents. Don't drum up some hatred because the other team is good, right? That's an honor to play a good team. That's when kids get to really thrive, right? So respect opponents, respect officials. It's hard for us to teach kids to respect authority when we're in the stands yelling at umpires. There's not a big leap from the locker room to the boardroom, right? How they learn to behave in sports is how they're going to learn to behave in life. If they can't respect authority here, we can't expect them to respect authority outside the lines. They got to respect their teammates. Don't let your teammates down. That means be at practice, right? We can't work on rundowns and first and third situations or bunt coverage when kids aren't there. So make every effort to be there when you should be, right? Respect your teammates. Don't let them down. But most important, respect themselves.